Imagine you had lost everything. Your family had been murdered and you were imprisoned, starved, dehumanized at every turn. Could you imagine maintaining your human dignity or being hopeful for the future? The following stories from the museum's collection provide a powerful answer. We all know the story of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, the meager Molotov cocktails of the defiant fighters taking on the military might of the Nazi war machine. Buried deep in the earth of the Warsaw Ghetto was another form of Molotov cocktail, another type of weapon, the weapon of words. Their power ultimately indestructible, for such is the power of truth. Led by historian Emanuel Ringelblum, tens of thousands of pages of material were buried in milk cans and tin boxes and survived the war. The aspiration of this secret project, called Oneg, Shabbat, Sabbath joy, was as monumental as it was noble, to document the life of the ghetto, the despair and the hope of a community. Gustava Jarecka was a writer, a teacher, and was working for the Jewish Council in the Warsaw Ghetto when she became one of the contributors to this heroic effort. She is the author of a haunting report about the deportations from the ghetto that she titled, "The Last Stage of Resettlement is Death." Gustava Jarecka wrote on July 22nd, 1942, several cars and 2 lorries arrived in front of the Jewish community building, called then pompously the main edifice of the Jewish Council. The pretentiousness of the name could be justified with the fact that, after all, it was the biggest community of Jews in Europe at the time. The arrival of several cars brought an end to this greatness. These notes are driven by an instinct, a desire to leave a mark, by despair close to crying sometimes, and from a will to justify one's life, remaining in deadly uncertainty. We have nooses on our necks, and when they loosen a little, we shout out. We note a proof of guilt which is useless for ourselves. The trace should be thrown like a stone under the wheel of history in order to stop it. The stone has the weight of our experience, which has reached the bottom of human cruelty. It contains the memories of mothers mad with grief after losing their children, a memory of the cry of children who were carried to the road to death without coats, in their summer clothes, barefoot, and walked crying, unaware of the horror which was happening to them. A memory of despair of old mothers and fathers who had to be abandoned by their adult children, and the stone silence in a dead city, once a sentence on 300,000 people was implemented. Gustava, a single mother raising 2 sons, died together with her children on a train to Treblinka in January 1943, most likely suffocating to death. To Gustava and the others, we pledge to keep your story alive. While on a deportation train to Auschwitz, Perla Kreiser wrote her final message to her 2 daughters. Swiss Red Cross workers Friedel Bonnie Reiter, known to the family as Nurse Friedel, had helped the girls escape. This was Perla's final communication with her family before she was murdered at Auschwitz. My dearest darlings, we have just passed Toulouse at 12 noon. We have enough food, but unfortunately I cannot eat. You can imagine how I feel. I am happy and glad that I don't have you two, my darlings, here with me. I am very curious if, when you will leave. In God's name, be brave and calm and thankful with all your heart for your kind Nurse Friedel. Heartfelt kisses to you, your mama. To Perla and all the others, we pledge to keep your story alive. We pledge to never forget. We pledge to never forget. We will never forget. We will remember. What you do matters.